Well, thank you for your time and checking out this presentation pitch. I think a unique opportunity for NewsCorp and the different brands and the value that football has played in the business over the years. I'd love to bring Rupert together with Craig Johnston, two Aussie legends, for a project that's twofold. The story of Craig and the product that Craig wants to leave behind with his legacy. No one else from Australia has achieved what he has done in the world game. It's an incredible story and it deserves to be told.
Certainly Liverpool have provided quality when they've got forward, as they do here with Johnston, who salutes the moment that may well have decided the destiny of this match.
So as a feature documentary, it's got everything. A young boy setting his dream to go over to the UK and conquer the world's game. It's got all the principles in place: sacrifice, dedication, and never giving up, in a truly inspirational story.
As a 6-year-old, growing up in Australia, I was a bright, happy kid. I was fascinated by science, maths, and how things worked. Then tragedy. I was struck down by osteomyelitis, a form of polio. My parents signed the order to amputate my left leg, but miraculously, a polio specialist saved the leg with a complex operation. The year was 1966, and from the hospital bed, I watched the famous Charlton brothers win the World Cup over in England, and I became obsessed with the game of football.
So you could imagine the journey in going over to the UK, actually playing for the hero you saw on TV, and then the dream becoming a nightmare.
My parents sold the house to finance my trip, and I'd been there a day, and there was a trial game, and we were getting beat 3-0 at half-time. Jack Charlton walked into the dressing room, had a go at everybody, and he said, where are you from? And I said, Australia. He said, you're the worst footballer I've ever seen in my life. Now hop it back to Australia. But he didn't use hop it, he said worse words. And that was the end of the dream. So I went back to the digs, phoned my mum and said, Mum was all excited. She said, how was your big trial? How did Jack Charlton like you? And I said, Mum, he said I'm one of the finest footballers he's ever seen. He wants me to stay. And I hung up before I burst into tears.
Yes.
And I couldn't go home then because of the sacrifice that had been made.
Some senior pros had heard about the tongue lashing and felt sorry for me. They gave me some money to clean their cars and said for now I could stay in the old coal shed behind the trialist digs. But I had to hide from Charlton until I could save up for my fare home.
So from being neglected by the other players, doing all the cleaning, the rooms, the boots, the cars, the only games of football he got to play was with the kids in the streets at night. Such an incredible story.
Back in the shed after midnight, I would cry myself to sleep. I realised just how far I was from my home, family and friends. I felt like I was in a kind of jail and desperately wanted to go back home to the warmth of the people who loved and wanted me, rather than a cold and empty Middlesbrough car park.
But it was in this car park that the magic and journey really took a new shape. He painted his own goal square, set up his own set of systems and techniques, and practiced for hours and hours every day. And when the chance finally came to get in a reserves game, his skills were so good he scored 2 goals, became a star at Middlesbrough, and then the biggest team in the world came calling. He went to Liverpool.
Oh, he's done well here is Craig Johnston. What a good finish.
Walks in the middle and Johnston too. Must be a goal, yes. 8.
Johnston. Very conclusively.
I was at Liverpool for 8 glorious years and made some remarkable friendships. I was lucky enough to win 5 league championships, 2 league cups, 1 charity shield and a European Cup winners' medal. But the highlight was to score the winning goal in the 1986 FA Cup final and win the glorious double against, of all teams, Everton. We were 1-1 midway through the second half when I scored. In celebration, I jumped up in the air and I screamed to the lads, "I've done it! I've done it!" This didn't mean that I'd scored. This meant I'd overcome illness, adversity and rejection. But somehow I'd got myself into that team on that day to score that goal. Yes, I had done it, from the hospital bed to the car park to Wembley Stadium. Yes, I had done it. I had scored that goal in the Middlesbrough car park hundreds and thousands of times. And that is my story.
Can I just say hello to my mum and dad in Australia and all my mates, because I know they're sitting up watching.
No,
I really want to.
No.
I said hello to my wife before, but they're a long way away and they're sitting up watching.
So an absolute icon of the game. No Australian player has achieved what Craig has done on the global stage in the global game. And when you look at some of the comments on YouTube, people saying this has got to be made into a feature documentary. It's got to one day become a film. It'll inspire everybody. And then there's the stories off the pitch. The most important thing to a football player are their boots. And Craig had a revolutionary idea that he developed and sold and changed the game.
It all started with this guy, the OG Adidas Predator. Now, the idea behind Predator originated from former footballer Craig Johnston, who wanted a football boot inspired by the grippy texture on a table tennis bat. So he developed the idea and later sold it to Adidas, who engineered these aggressive rubber fins into a kangaroo leather upper. And it gave you tons of swerve and power in your shot.
When the Predator came into the market first off, you know, it was something different. It was something that no one had ever seen before.
So the biggest stars in the world all wearing Craig's ideas for the boots, but that didn't come easy too. Everyone said no. So again, dedication, persistence, never giving up. The traits of Craig's story. Even stuff like the Anfield Rap, creating a song that went number 3 on the charts.
Well, I came to England looking for fame. So come on, Kenny man, give us a game. Cause I've sat on the bench, fame and used my fees. I'm very big down under, but my wife disagrees.
They've won the league, bigger stars than Dallas. They've got more silver than Buckingham Palace. No one knows quite what to expect when the red machine's in full effect.
So it's a truly fascinating story, even off the field, with the different inventions, including television coming up with the main event.
I sat down and I thought, why do people watch television? They watch it because of their music, their sport, their comedy, their film, their entertainment, their show business, their heroes, and people like to laugh.
So it's been an incredible journey developing TV shows and selling them internationally as well. But now we come to part 2, and maybe the most important thing, which is the product and the legacy and the passion that Craig has to help kids all around the world.
Now, it's often been said that we don't lack for spirit on the football field as a nation. But maybe what we do lack is the technical ability. One man is going to try and change all that.
Douglas, no, Johnston, yes! 2-1 to Liverpool. Craig Johnston.
It's all the games that we all played, keepy uppy, chip the crossbar. It's all of those things, and then you add in a sophisticated set of measurement increments if you want to, but it's all the games that we always played in a very harmonised, structured, disciplined way that gives you some data at the back end of it. For the first time, these kids can actually get a measure for 10 skills and say, that's my measure. Then they can come out the next day and try and beat it. You know, so the whole emphasis is fun and facts. But it's all very, very simple.
And this is the crux of it. The individual data for each skill is standardised globally, so you can measure yourself against your best, like a golf handicap. And you can measure yourself against anyone in the world, like Zidane or Bergkamp.
It's great, isn't it, that someone can get their little handicap as far as football skills is concerned by that, and then they can log onto the website and see how they compare against the professionals, against Ryan Giggs or...
I know he's a former teammate, but it's the first time there's ever been anything like this, to be quite honest with you, and it's fun. And you can see, I think, straight away, you've got a benchmark all the time so you can improve, and I think all the time you're enjoying it, and it is fun. You don't even think that it's hard work. But to be able to kind of have a standard against the pros as well, I think is a great thing about it.
It truly is a revolutionary and simple idea, and we've got kids all around the world inside playing PlayStations. I can't think of a parent who wouldn't want their child outside, boy or girl, practicing their skills and getting better. They say that content is the king, but content embedded with data is the kingdom. And now every child around the world can download an app, they can track their results, and they can compare them to their heroes, the biggest stars in the game. Of course, football is the global game, and this has global reach, and with that comes the global revenue. It really could be $1 billion business. Anything is possible. The Facebook of sports. Craig wanting to help the kids around the world, leaving a legacy for them with the principles that he learnt in the car park all those years ago, and all the dedication and hard work. His story needs to be told. It's certainly a story for the ages from Australia. With that story being told, a great product to be sold off the back. I think Rupert Murdoch with Craig Johnston together, we can get kids outside getting healthy and active. It's a massive win-win opportunity, and I think NewsCorp has the platform to do it. Thanks for watching.